Hi, this is Allison with the Sweatshop of Love, and today we are going to do cast on, which of course is when you start a project, you always start with a cast on. It's the first instruction in your pattern. And this cast on that I always teach my students is kind of a variation of the old Norwegian cast on, which starts with a slip knot. So we're going to make a slip knot and put that right on our needle. Now, this cast on uses both your tail yarn and the yarn that's attached to your skein. So always make sure that you have enough tail yarn for how many stitches that you have to cast on. So if you're casting on 300 stitches, make sure you have about a mile of tail yarn. Alright, so we've got our slip knot on our needle. That knot that the slip knot made is going to be facing you, and that's very important, otherwise your cast-ons will be all twisted. It doesn't matter whether your tail yarn is on your left side or your right side. All you want to make sure is that that knot is facing you and your strands are split, one to each side. So, with our left hand, you're going to go under and around that left tail of yarn. You're going to take the needle, go up and inside that loop. With your right hand, you want to take the yarn around and in between your needle and your thumb. Then you want to scooch your thumb out of that loop and then pull that loop over the top of the needle. With your left hand, pull that left yarn snug there, and then that's your cast on. So let's do that a couple more times. So with your left hand, you're going to take your thumb under and around that loop, take your needle up in between that loop right there. With your right hand, you want to take that strand around and in between your thumb and the needle, pop your thumb out of that loop, put that loop over the top of the needle and pull snug with your left hand. Again, with your left hand, take your thumb under and around that yarn. Take your needle up and in that loop right there. With your right hand, take that strand of yarn in between your thumb and your needle. Take your thumb out of that loop and over the top of the needle and then pull that snug. So there you have it. Remember that every loop that's on your needle is one cast on stitch. So if your pattern calls for 20 cast on stitches, you want 20 loops on your needle. Happy knitting!